Terence Crawford is not leaving anything to chance in his highly anticipated showdown against Canelo Alvarez. The undefeated welterweight champion is making a bold move by seeking guidance from none other than Floyd Mayweather, the first man to hand Canelo a professional defeat. As the September mega fight looms, Crawford has wasted no time in intensifying his preparations, choosing to learn from one of the best defensive boxers the sport has ever seen. Crawford's decision to start his training camp this early stems from his determination to properly adjust to the significant weight jump. Stepping up to 168 pounds is no small feat, and the Nebraska-born fighter understands that he needs to build muscle and adapt to the weight class if he wants to stand a chance against Canelo, the undisputed super middleweight champion. Instead of taking on other fights in 2025, Crawford is laser-focused on one thing: dethroning Canelo Alvarez. The collaboration with Mayweather is a strategic masterstroke. Known for his legendary defense, Mayweather's insights could give Crawford the edge he needs against Canelo's power and counterpunching ability. Mayweather has worked with numerous elite fighters, including Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, and Gervonta Tank Davis, passing on his wealth of knowledge to the next generation. Now, Crawford is tapping into that same expertise, hoping to refine his defense, footwork, and in-ring IQ before stepping into the ring with the Mexican superstar. During their sessions, Mayweather and Crawford placed heavy emphasis on defensive techniques, fine-tuning the shoulder roll, improving foot placement, and enhancing reaction time. With Canelo's explosive power and precise body shots, Crawford knows he must be elusive, smart, and ready to counter with precision. But will learning from Mayweather be enough to overcome the challenge that awaits him in September? Fans have long debated the similarities between Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather, but Crawford himself is quick to acknowledge the differences. "He's the king," Crawford said when asked about Mayweather's influence. "We have a lot in common in some aspects, but we're different fighters. I take more chances." Early in his career, he took a lot of chances too, but later on, he adjusted his style. Crawford's reference to Mayweather's evolution from the aggressive pretty boy Floyd to the calculated money Mayweather suggests that he sees the value in strategic adaptability. That adaptability will be crucial as Crawford prepares for the biggest challenge of his career. Unlike Mayweather, who fought Canelo when the Mexican was just 23 years old, Crawford will be facing a seasoned Canelo who has matured into a dominant force in the sport. Mayweather's defensive masterclass against Canelo remains one of the most impressive performances in boxing history, but Crawford will have to craft his own blueprint to victory. Can he replicate that success, or will Canelo's experience, power, and size prove to be too much? Canelo, for his part, has made it clear that he will not be dropping weight for the fight. The fight will happen at 168 pounds, Crawford's first time competing at such a high weight class. While some fans believe that Crawford's skill set could neutralize Canelo's size advantage, others argue that the jump from 147 to 168 pounds is simply too much. "Canelo is the king," said Calvin Ford, trainer of Gervonta Davis. "It's a good fight, but Crawford's moving up in weight, and that's a big deal. He needs to prove that his power carries up." This sentiment is echoed by many boxing analysts, including former heavyweight champion Tyson Fury, who weighed in on the potential matchup. "Weight is the deciding factor," Fury said. "If they fought in a lower division, I'd give Crawford a real chance. But at super middleweight, that's Canelo's territory." The intrigue surrounding this fight has sparked heated debates within the boxing community. On one side, Crawford supporters believe that his superior technical skills, speed, and adaptability will allow him to outbox Canelo. On the other hand, Canelo's fans argue that his experience at 168 pounds, punching power, and relentless pressure will be too much for Crawford to handle. Gervonta Davis has also inserted himself into the conversation, dismissing the idea of Crawford being able to challenge Canelo. "Easy work," Davis scoffed when asked about the fight. "If I was easy work, you'd take the money and fight me, right?" Davis' comments, however, have been met with mixed reactions, as many believe that Crawford has earned his shot at greatness by moving up in weight and taking on the biggest challenge available. Crawford's transition to 168 pounds will be one of the most scrutinized moves in modern boxing history. While he has dominated at 147, making the leap to super middleweight is a different story. His fight against Israil Madrimov at 154 pounds showed that he could compete at a higher weight, but he wasn't able to secure a stoppage, raising questions about whether his power can translate beyond welterweight. Mike Tyson has expressed his concerns, questioning whether Crawford can successfully navigate the size disadvantage. "I don't like this fight," Tyson said on the Come and Talk to Me podcast. "Too much weight for Crawford. He had a close fight with Madrimov because that guy was big and awkward. He shouldn't have even fought him." Despite the skepticism, Crawford remains undeterred. "I moved up in weight because I wanted to fight the best guy in the division," Crawford told Yahoo Sports. "I know what my body is capable of. Nobody can question my ambition." If Crawford manages to defeat Canelo, it would be one of the most remarkable accomplishments in boxing history. A win would cement his status as one of the all-time greats, proving that skill can triumph over size. But if Canelo prevails, it would reinforce the notion that weight divisions exist for a reason. Boxing purists are also intrigued by the stylistic matchup. Crawford is a switch hitter with the ability to fight effectively from both orthodox and southpaw stances. His ability to make adjustments mid-fight is one of his greatest strengths, as seen in his dismantling of Errol Spence Jr. However, Canelo is a calculated, patient fighter who excels at breaking down opponents with precise counterpunching and devastating body shots. He has faced and beaten numerous elite opponents, and he knows how to neutralize speed and movement. With both fighters at the peak of their careers, the stakes couldn't be higher. Canelo, who has already solidified his legacy, is looking to add another massive name to his resume, while Crawford is chasing the ultimate challenge to etch his name in boxing immortality. Regardless of who wins, this fight has all the makings of a classic. It's a collision of skill versus power, strategy versus aggression, and ambition versus experience. Crawford's partnership with Mayweather could be the key to unlocking the secrets of defeating Canelo, but ultimately, it will come down to what happens inside the ring. Will Crawford's technical brilliance be enough to overcome the size and power of Canelo Alvarez, or will Canelo's experience at super middleweight prove too much for the daring welterweight champion? One thing is for sure, boxing fans are in for a spectacle when these two warriors step into the ring in September. Floyd Mayweather has once again made waves in the boxing world by stepping into the corner of another fighter, despite the turbulent history he shares with Gervonta "Tank" Davis. His decision to work with Terence Crawford has surprised many, especially after the public falling out with Davis. However, it also highlights Mayweather's deep love for the sport and his willingness to take risks when he believes in someone's talent. His relationship with Gervonta Davis was once a close-knit mentor-protégé bond. Mayweather saw incredible potential in Davis and dedicated himself to molding the young fighter into a global superstar. Under Mayweather's guidance, Davis reached new heights, achieving multiple championships and becoming one of the most feared punchers in the lightweight division. But despite this, tensions grew between them, leading to a very public split. Last April, shortly after the highly anticipated bout between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, Mayweather unleashed a scathing rant directed at certain boxers. While he did not name anyone directly, his frustration was clear. He accused some fighters of caring more about their appearance than their craft, contrasting their approach with his own legendary work ethic. Mayweather reminded everyone that his success was not just about the wealth and fame people see today but about the countless sacrifices he made along the way. A lot of times, what these fighters are looking at, they're looking at Floyd with the cars, they're looking at Floyd being flashy, Mayweather said. Man, listen, I made so many sacrifices. You all are looking at the end results. Even when I was champion, having hundreds of millions in the bank, I was still grinding in the gym. You're all worried about your outfits and how your boots look. Worried about the wrong things. Later, when asked about his remarks, Mayweather didn't hesitate to bring up Gervonta Davis. He expressed deep disappointment, stating that Davis had been ungrateful despite all that he had done for him. My thing is, I've always been there for him, Mayweather said. From day one, we had a game plan to help him become world champion and take Tank to the next level. I was always positive, always saying great things about him, always pushing him to be great. But over the years, he's constantly gone online to take shots at me, constantly being disrespectful, when all I ever did was try to help. The tension between them escalated further when Davis accused Mayweather of orchestrating an attack against him. Mayweather swiftly denied the allegations, explaining that his intentions had always been to guide young fighters toward financial security beyond their boxing careers. When I said that I need all the young fighters making money in boxing to invest in real estate, I wasn't singling anyone out, Mayweather explained. I was talking to all fighters. We see guys making millions, spending on cars, clothes, and jewelry, but what about securing their future? Fighters need to think beyond the ring. But somehow, Tank took that personally, as if I was only talking about him. Despite his past controversies, Mayweather remains deeply involved in boxing. He was recently asked about the top 5 fighters in the lightweight division, and without hesitation, he named Gervonta Davis as the biggest puncher at 135 pounds. However, when it came to skill, he had no doubts Shakur Stevenson was, in his eyes, the most technically sound boxer in the division. Shakur Stevenson reminds me of Pernell Whitaker, Mayweather said. He's not the heaviest puncher, but his skills make up for it. If he wants to fight the best, I hope we can come together, and I can take him to that next level. Mayweather's praise for Stevenson and his willingness to guide Terence Crawford show that despite his frustrations with certain fighters, his love for the sport remains intact. He still wants to shape the future of boxing, even if it means taking risks on new talents. Another topic that stirred controversy was Roy Jones Jr.'s claim that he deserved to be called the greatest of all time over Mayweather. Mayweather's response was calm but firm. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, he said. And I'm glad Roy feels that way about himself. Every fighter who gave their life to boxing should feel like they're the best. But I believe the numbers, the records, and the history speak for themselves. Mayweather then took the opportunity to revisit his fight with Canelo Alvarez. Some critics have claimed that he forced Canelo into an unfair catch weight. Mayweather, however, pointed out that Canelo himself had proposed fighting at 152 pounds. At one point, Canelo thought I was scared of him, Mayweather said. He said, Floyd doesn't want to fight me. I'll meet him at 152. So I called his bluff. And let's be clear, after he made the weight, he was still free to gain as much as he wanted before the fight. He came in close to 170, and I was still around 151 or 152. His remarks reflected his confidence, even years after retirement. Mayweather has always prided himself on outsmarting his opponents both inside and outside the ring. Meanwhile, speculation continues about a potential super fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. While the fight remains a dream for many fans, boxing legend Roy Jones Jr. recently weighed in on the matchup. Initially, Jones had favored Crawford, but he later reconsidered, citing Canelo's size and power as major factors. "I like Terence, but I'm leaning toward Canelo," Jones admitted. "If Canelo lands clean early, it could be a problem for Crawford. But if Terence finds his rhythm, then Canelo will have his hands full." Jones stressed that Canelo's punching power would be the key factor in the fight. "If Crawford can deal with the size difference and avoid getting caught early, he's got a real shot," Jones continued. "But if he can't take those shots, it's going to be tough. The question is, can Canelo hurt him enough to change the fight?" While Crawford is open to the challenge, Canelo seems uninterested. The Mexican superstar has dismissed the idea, stating that a win against Crawford would do little to enhance his legacy. However, many fans disagree, believing Crawford has the skill set to pull off one of the greatest upsets in boxing history. Roy Jones also weighed in on the long-awaited bout between David Benavidez and Canelo Alvarez. Benavidez has been calling for a fight with Canelo for years, but so far, the bout has yet to materialize. "It's a tough fight to call," Jones said. "Benavidez throws a lot of punches, and that could be a problem for Canelo. But power can change things. If Canelo can't hurt Benavidez early, then I don't see him winning." Benavidez, known for his relentless pressure and high-volume punching, is considered one of the few fighters capable of overwhelming Canelo. But as Jones pointed out, the real question is whether Canelo is willing to take the risk. "I don't think Canelo feels like he has a reason to take that fight right now," Jones said. "If he can't hurt Benavidez in the first few rounds, it's going to be a long night for him." For now, Canelo remains focused on his upcoming bout, with many speculating that William Skull could be his next opponent. But boxing fans around the world are still hoping to see him in the ring against either Crawford or Benavidez. As for Mayweather, his impact on the sport remains as strong as ever. Whether he is mentoring new fighters, speaking his mind about the current state of boxing, or reflecting on his own legendary career, he continues to be a dominant force in the conversation. Love him or hate him, there's no denying that Floyd Mayweather's influence on boxing is as powerful as ever. For the latest updates on all things boxing, be sure to stay tuned, subscribe to our channel, and never miss a beat. Until next time, stay in the ring, stay sharp, and keep fighting.